On your way to your seat, say alone but not lonely. I just want to talk to you for a few moments this morning. It is by design and prayer that you've had an incredible service. This is not the kind of meeting where I feel pressured to come in and make it become something, because it is already there. Thank you, Lord. But I just want to leave with you perhaps some direction and some substance and some practical teaching that will prepare you for private moments. We need little preparation for public moments. We need preparation for private moments. For most of us, if we are anguished in private moments. If we are frustrated in private moments. If we're dealing with dark issues, they are private dark issues. And they show up in the strangest place. And if they're left unresolved, you'll be left talking the talk of a Christian, but not walking the walk. And it is so easy to pick up the vernacular and start moving in the communication and start going through the praise modes and motions and go home to no peace and no joy and no strength and no life. Perhaps a good place to start would be to start with telling you that God's name is jealous. I think that when he lets us know that his name is jealous as opposed to he is jealous, he is trying to make us understand that whenever we deal with him, we need to know that he has a certain tendency to become jealous anytime we ascribe to anything or anyone else what ought to be exclusively his. His name is jealous. Furthermore, you need to know that he is jealous over you. You are espoused to a jealous man. Male or female, I'm talking to both of you. Hear me when I'm telling you. You have to understand, you are espoused to a man who is in love with you and jealous. You have to be careful who you are seen talking to. Who you get off in the corner and whisper with. Who you or what you are impressed over, because he's jealous. Now, most people who are espoused to a jealous companion get some rest in their absence. But this one that is in love with you never leaves. And he never sleeps. He never slumbers. He can see through a solid wall in pitch black night with all the lights off on black blankets and sheets. He can hear your voice in the midst of a million screaming people. He knows your thoughts while you're still trying to gather them in your head. He knows your attractions, seductions, and vulnerabilities, even the ones that you hid from your mama. And he's jealous. One of the things that God dealt the most harshly about throughout all of the Old Testament, even above and beyond sexuality, was idolatry. Whenever he saw idolatry, he would eradicate it at a moment's notice. Because out of idolatry came sexual perversion, sexual misuse and abuse, because sexuality is actually a form of worship. Properly applied within the context of marriage, it becomes worship to Christ and his bride. Misappropriated, it becomes a picture of an idolatrous, adulterous generation whose wickedness has prevailed to such intensity that it manifests in physical sexuality called perversions and promiscuities. Now, if I asked if anybody in here had an idol in their house, I probably wouldn't get many hands, because I'm sure that you have purged your house of idols. I'm sure you have no Buddha statues. I'm sure you have no candles or tarot cards or Ouija boards or any strange, unexplainable whatnots that you can't figure out what the symbol means. I'm sure you've purged your house of all unexplainable artwork. I'm sure you've done that. But you need to understand that many of the idols that plague this generation are not made with hands. They are created images impressed upon the pages of our mind through media, television, and excesses. One of the idols I want to talk about today that might be lurking in your house is the idol of companionship. The idol of companionship. What do you mean, the idol of companionship? I'm glad you asked. The idol of companionship distracts its worshiper from every other life's pursuit and causeth its worshiper to become preoccupied with gaining it. Gaining companionship becomes more important than winning Christ, walking in the Spirit, receiving His Word, building up your life, preparing your future. Everything is built upon whether someone else is in your life. The idol of companionship promises its disciples happiness and joy and bliss, and suggests that until you have it, you can never be happy. And many are the Christians who worship at the altar of companionship. And they hold on to it because they keep getting the promise that if they have it, they will have fulfillment. And even in a service like this, where God is getting so much glory, the idol will come. And while the saints are worshiping, it will scan the room for prospects, candidates, and potential recruits. The idol, when you get ready to come to a meeting like this, will tell you what to wear in case. The idol controls your clothing, your finances. It will get every dollar you have over a promised look that it doesn't even deliver. You will run all of your credit cards up to maximum capacity at the promise of this idol while you put change in the offering. For the God you say you love, you give change. But for the God you really serve, you'll sell out. And He doesn't have to deliver you a companion. Just suggest that there might be one. And the suggestion alone will change the way you walk, the way you talk, will distract you in a praise service, will take authority over your finances, will boggle your mind, and then send you home after a wonderful service depressed. Because the worship of this idol suggests that having God is not enough. And so no matter how wonderful the service and how mighty the move of God and how greatly the touch of God comes in, how much the word of God comes, because this idol is never cast down. We don't get the full benefit of God's presence because we still look around him. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? He corrected me. He said, they don't look around me. He said, they put it before me. He said, if they looked around me, at least it would mean that I was first. He said, correct it immediately, because I told him, thou shalt have no other gods. If they put me first, I would overthrow it. But because they worship it before me, and only worship me once they get to the event and don't see it, for this cause, I'm jealous. Because I promised them everything and they don't react. He can promise them one thing and they will move across the country. Well, what would make somebody worship a God so impotent when he promises so much and gives so little? It is the loss of your own individuality that makes you need to be swallowed up in the life of another to find fulfillment for you. Oh, we're going to get into some heavy stuff. Can we get into some heavy stuff? All of a sudden, your presence alone becomes so insignificant that you need somebody else to make you enjoy you. And one of the reasons that few people are attracted to you, I didn't say your body, I said to you, because many have been attracted to your body but didn't want you. In order for somebody to be attracted to you, you have to be attracted to you. People ultimately imitate your opinion about you. If I got ready to buy Pastor Brian Keith Williams a suit, I would never, ever go to Kmart. And he's glad about it. Because I see how he dresses himself. He has set a standard so high that it intimidates me from giving anything to him that is less than how he treats. So you set the stage, and we all stand on the stage that you set about you. You tell us who you are by how you treat yourself and how you perceive yourself. And your treatment of you causes me to set a rhythm comparable to where you are yourself. So if I meet you and you have an anything will do mentality, then I do you with anything. But if I meet you and you set a standard, either I have to come up to your playing field or say, oh, she thinks she's so much, and walk off and leave her alone. Because the truth of the matter is, when I meet you, you are already engaged in a relationship with you. And depending upon how well that is going, I enter into a beat that you already set. And so when God gets ready to tear down the idol of companionship in your life, He takes you through a process called rejection. He lets you reap the rewards of worshiping idols. Because the best way for you to learn the distinction between the true God and the false God is to watch how they answer. Did not Elijah say, the God that answers by fire, let him be God? And so God lets you call on your God and scream and holler and cut yourself and give your flesh and give your body and enter into sexual acts you didn't even enjoy and play somebody's mama and be somebody's sugar daddy and help them out and pay their rent. Hunt somebody and tell him he's jealous. Have you ever seen somebody, now I haven't been in church all my life, I might as well set this straight right now. Have you ever been over in the club? I know you haven't, you're all good church people, but on behalf of us reformed sinners, I have been in the club and seen the woman out there dancing on the floor with some other whatever. And the guy is over in the corner. And I know it's going to be a fight before the night is over, because he hadn't said anything, but he's jealous. God has been standing over in the corner, saying, how long is she gonna keep going? How long is he gonna keep giving themselves? How long are they gonna keep trying to find fulfillment in the arms of flesh? How long are they gonna waste days waiting for somebody to discover them? How long are they gonna miss all the blessings I'm giving them? How long do I take them to the party and I can't dance? How long? Nudge your neighbor, say he's getting jealous. And you need to know this. You need to know this before you get back home, because I see him swelling up and I see him getting an attitude and I see him looking at you, and I know something is about to happen if you don't change, because see, he loves you. And when he sees you out there playing the dozens and fooling around and looking around and shopping around and thinking that you can't have love, joy, peace, happiness, contentment without somebody else, he gets jealous, because he is full of love, joy, peace, contentment, and life. And he said, you did all of that for them and they gave you nothing. But come unto me, all ye that are weak and heavy laden, I will give you rest. And so when he gets ready to bring correction, he sends rejection. Correction through rejection. Most of us wouldn't be where we are in the kingdom right now if it weren't for rejection. You got the greatest degree of direction from rejection. You figured out where you were supposed to be when they got through slamming doors in your face. You said, oh, I'm supposed to be over here. So they said, we don't want you, and we don't want you, and we don't want you. And you say, oh. And so God says, and Jacob was left alone. Now the word left means he wasn't alone at first. It doesn't say he went alone, he wanted to be alone, he liked being alone, he enjoyed being alone. No, he was left. Have you ever been left? Let me ask, has anybody in here ever been left? Left alone can be one of the most terrible feelings, because left alone means it wasn't my decision to be alone. It means that somebody else's choice left me in a situation that I didn't want to be in. If I had my brothers, we would be still like hooked up, but I've been left alone. That means I've been left to deal with this without you. Didn't want to, but your decision left me alone. And Jacob was left. How many folks have been left? Now, being left creates a lot of problems. First of all, it will create bitterness. Because once you have been left, you get hurt so bad that you build up defenses against anybody else who comes in your life just in case. You know, I've been hurt so bad. I don't ever want to go through this again. So I am going to distance myself from you to protect myself from you, so that if you don't stay, I won't have this terrible price to pay of being left alone again. So I basically go into what I call the Jericho syndrome. And the Jericho syndrome, you remember what it said about Jericho? It said Jericho was straightly shut up. And it means that the walls around Jericho were so high that it was completely shut up. And nobody got in, and nobody got out. And so the walls you build to protect you imprison you. And a lot of people, hear this good, get married in Jericho. They go through the vows, they wear the dress, they put on the tux, they change the rings, they go on the honeymoon, but they still have the walls up. Just in case you leave, I'm ready. You start some mess with me, I am ready. I got a checking account I didn't tell you about, and I left some money with my mama. Now you can act a fool if you want to. And the reason that the marriage doesn't work is because the Bible says, for this cause shall a man leave his mother and father and take unto him a wife, and they shall cleave and become one flesh. But I can't cleave to anything that's got walls up. So anytime we have not learned how to be comfortable enough with who we are and where we are to drop our walls, then God can't send anybody to us but him. He is the wall breaker. He can break a wall. He can break a wall. He can break a wall. It may take some time. You may have to go through some things. You may have to walk around in the house crying. You may have to tell everybody off until you recognize everybody you told off left. You can go if you want to, and then you recognize they went. I don't need you no way. They gone. You watch them driving away. You start saying, I don't care. See you. And then you make a dumb phone call like, I just called because you left your socks. Come over here and get these socks. And they come over to get the socks, you got dinner cooked. I thought you might be hungry. Some people are so afraid of being alone, they will do anything because they've never gotten rid of this idol of companionship. They will do anything. They'll try to freak themselves out, like they'll come in the house, nobody's in the house, so they turn the radio on. Oh, I'm gonna kill you before you go home. Just sit there. They turn the radio on. It doesn't matter what station, it doesn't matter what they're singing, it doesn't matter what they're talking about. It's just to create the illusion that the real bad cases turn the radio on and the television on at the same time because they want to see somebody in the house. When we was in the world, we used to get, well, I don't mind telling you because y'all still getting high, but we would play music and turn on the TV. I don't know why we did that. We had the music turned up and the TV turned down. I'm gonna make an altar call in a minute, you can come. They'll do anything to keep from being alone. Radio, TV. They'll invite people over they don't want to be bothered with. Call mom and them. I'm cooking dinner, y'all want something to eat? Basically, just don't want to be alone. You might not believe this, but sometimes they'll have sex just because they don't want to be alone. And you know what's really weird? The person will think they're all of that, and it ain't none of that. It's just that they've developed such a fear of holding that pillow. You know how you can take a pillow that's supposed to lay this way, but you turn it this way like a body and put your arm up under it and fluff it up and make the top part the head. And then you kind of lay your head over on there. Can you believe? Now we know secular people do that. We know unsaved people. But can you believe that even in the church that there are people who basically will prostitute their body because they worship the God of companionship so strongly that they will give up their body just to keep from holding the pillow another night and put up with somebody that they don't even particularly appreciate. Just to keep from being alone. You'll be surprised what people will do just to keep from being alone. People will marry people that they cannot stand, just to keep from being alone, and then get angry at them for not being the one. Just to keep from being a mother she'll take somebody in the house that she knows is on drugs, just to keep from being alone. Listen, the door opens in the middle of the night. She hears him tip out of the room. He's gone 2 or 3 hours. He didn't leave the house. And if he wasn't there, she would be alone. You'd be surprised what people give up to the idol of companionship just so they won't be alone. Do you not know why African American women, hear me, and I know we have other ethnicities here and it's applicable to you too, but why it is an alarming epidemic in the African American female community, the spread of AIDS? Do you not know why we are minorities in economy, minorities in population, minorities in wealth, but are leading majorities in the contraction of AIDS amongst middle-aged female black women? May I tell you? Because our women are so afraid of being alone. That if you can't get a man, you will borrow one and share him with whatever. Oh, see, you don't want to talk about this. You want us to keep preaching funerals, or are we going to talk about this? They're not just dropping out of the street, dropping out of clubs. They're dropping out of the choir. They're dropping out of the usher board. They're dropping out of the pulpit. They're dropping out of everywhere because we don't want to be alone. And the church doesn't want to talk about it, and the little preacher don't want to talk about it. And it's like, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was in the fiery furnace. And the king said, look, I put in 3. And I believe I see a 4th one. And the 4th one looks just like, I said, looks just like, it looks just like Jesus. Good God, yeah. I know how to do that too. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But every now and then we got to stop the hearse wheels, arrest the devil, and say, wait a minute, you're stealing too many of our children. You're taking too many of our wives. Our young ladies are dying too early. Our missionaries are going down on the battlefield and they're dancing and jumping and speaking in tongues and going home and sleeping with anyone because they got to dance but they don't have no joy. They got to smile but they don't have no happiness. They got to jump but they don't have no peace of mind. Oh! Ask the person next to you, how much will you pay for a friend? Ask him, will you pay your daughter? Will you pay your son? Will you pay your health? Can I go a little bit deeper? I know to the average person, you think, this is irrelevant. People don't do that. This isn't happening. But if you talk to any pastor worth their salt, they will tell you child abuse is epidemic in this country. While mama is getting it on with all these uncles and cousins that are not in the family Bible, they're selling their daughters out. And when their daughters or sons try to tell them, they slap them in the face and say, shut your mouth, because she worships at the idol of companionship so much she doesn't want to be alone. Can I go deeper? You're dating somebody married. I know they told you they love you, but they lied. I know they said as soon as we get the house paid off, I'm leaving, but they're not. Deep down in your heart, you know they're not. That's why you keep having arguments. You keep asking dumb questions like, do you love me or not? I put everything on the line. You and me not even supposed to be doing this, and I put everything on the line to be there with you. And I can't stand the thinking you're going back home to be with that woman, and you're just going to have to make. How do you worship the idol of companionship? So you know what God did? He let Jacob be alone. Whenever God is getting ready to use anybody in a massive way, he calls them alone. He sets them in a place of isolation. Until he got ready to use Moses, he let Moses play in Egypt. But when he really got ready to use Moses, he put him on the backside of the desert alone. You don't hear what I'm saying? When God got ready to use Naomi as a midwife for Ruth, he let her lose everything she had. Her husband was dead, and the old woman was left alone. Are you hearing what I'm saying? When Elijah got ready to anoint his successor, he finds himself backed up in a cave, isolated and frustrated, and there he is alone. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? Jeremiah is shut up in the jailhouse and said, I'm not preaching anymore, and there he is alone. Paul writes most of the New Testament not while he's preaching and traveling, but while he's locked up in a jail cell alone. Whenever God gets ready to use you mightily, he can't use you in a great crowd of people, everybody around you supporting you, undergirding you. When God gets ready to call you, God calls you alone. Touch somebody and tell them alone. Alone, disconnected, cut off, alienated, nobody calling me, nobody coming by to see me, nobody interested in me, all dressed up, nobody said nothing, smelling good, looking good, don't nobody smell me. I'm wasting cologne money. I got my nails done and ain't nobody looking at my finger. Got my towel there, nobody looked at my tie. I might as well put on anything. I don't have no special somebody. I don't even have no friends. My family's acting like they lost their mind. I'm out of here by myself. God, I don't understand. Why do I have to be alone? Well, he sent me here to tell you it's because he's about to open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. Keep on dressing up. Keep on doing your hair. Keep on spraying your cologne. If don't nobody smell it but the Lord, keep yourself together. Pick yourself up and pull yourself up. You're not alone because there's nobody who likes you. You're alone because God has called you into a time of consecration. He sent me here to tell you he is preparing you. He's preparing you. He's getting you ready. And the greater the blessing, the greater the preparation. Sit down a minute. And it's not just about sex. It's hard to be alone. It's hard to come home from a great success and have nobody to tell it to. It's hard to be worried about something and need somebody to pray with you and you don't have nobody to pray with you. It's hard to get a great victory in a moment of celebration and you so excited and you come home in the house and ain't nobody there. You are talking to yourself, walking around the house. Wasn't that something? Woo, wasn't that special? Oh, that was neat. Wasn't that great? Woo! Making all that silly faces all by you. It's hard to be alone, but every now and then God will prescribe aloneness so that your anointing will swell up in your belly and fill your spirit and intoxicate your soul. And he don't mean for you to have no company. God wants you. Next point, you couldn't hear with all them people in your life. All you could hear was their voice. And when God gets ready to teach you his voice, he cuts off everybody else's voice. And no, they're not calling you like they used to call you because you ain't doing the stuff you used to do. And no, they don't want to be with you because ain't nothing happening no more. And God means for you to be by yourself so that you don't have no confusion over who's talking to you. When there's a voice in your house, you're going to know it ain't Freddie and it ain't Tyrone. You're going to know this is the voice of the Lord speaking unto you. I woke you up in the middle of the night to tell you you're still my child and I'm about to bless you. I'm about to pour out my blessing upon you. I'm about to sharpen your gifts and your skills. When you go to work in the morning, apply for that job, walk right in the office and tell them what I told you to tell them, because I am your husband and I am your reward and I am your El Shaddai. Lift your hands, open your mouth, and let glory fill this room. I'm not through. I'm not through. I'm not through. Kondo boho shadario. Kila mando koshadario. I feel idols coming down. Kondo sa. I feel idols coming down. Somebody pray, because I'm going into spiritual warfare. And I feel high places coming down, strongholds coming down. See, you've been taught faith wrong. All you're doing is believing God for a husband. believing God for a wife, believing God for this. Let me tell you something. God is tearing down every idol. God is jealous because every time you get in his face, you talked about somebody other than him. David said, one thing have I desired of the Lord, one thing, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. God said, your list is too big. Your list is too big. It takes too much to make you happy. But when you get down where you've X'd all these other things off your list and you say, Lord, as long as I got you, I don't care who comes, I don't care who goes, I don't care where we live, whether we're in a trailer or a mansion, as long as I got you in my life. Sit down, please. God. I shouldn't have said nothing, because once I get started, it's hard. God said something. He asked him a question, and he couldn't ask him this question in a crowd because this is really personal. He asked him a question. He asked him a question, and he didn't want nobody to hear this because this is personal. Some stuff that God needs to talk to you about, nobody can hear it but you and him. God says to Jacob while he is alone, what is your name? It sounds like a stupid question, but watch out for God when he asks you a stupid question. It means it's not stupid, it means it's so intelligent that you can't conceive it. He said, I got you by yourself to make you understand that you don't even know who you are. How you gonna give yourself to somebody when you don't even know what you're giving? What is your name? You gonna walk down the aisle and say, I do. You don't even know who I is. That's why you're married 10 years before you figure out who you are. And then you find out, say, wait a minute, this ain't working for me. Well, the first 10 years you didn't know who you were. And so God incubated you and put you by yourself. And now he says, what is your name? What is my name? Lord, I'm a grown man. It's a dumb question. What is my name? I know my name. You asked me that. You got me out here by myself to ask me something this stupid. What do you mean? What is my name? It won't make any sense for you to ask me this. You need to be fixing my problems. I'm out here in the middle of this mess. I'm halfway between here and there. Me and Esau, my brother, have fallen out. I've lost fellowship with him. Everything's in a mess in my life. I've lost things. I'm destitute and confused and frustrated. And you want to know what is my name? I know my name. Ain't nobody else out here to talk to but you. I guess I might as well answer. Ain't nobody calling but you. I guess I might as well answer. Don't nobody want to date me but you. I guess I might as well answer. My name is Jacob. And then God blows his mind. He says, that didn't even your name. What do you mean it's not my name? That's what they call me. That's what they call me all my life. All my life. They call me Jacob. Jacob means trickster, con artist. Of course, that's who I am. Aren't I? Aren't I whoever the last person touched me said I am? Aren't I whatever my parents, my past, my background says I am? I always thought I was whatever my past said I was. Aren't I whatever my actions say I am? I mean, I played some tricks, I ran some scams, so I am, aren't I? I'm a trickster. You mean I'm not Jacob? But I did, Jacob. Oh God, stay with me. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me. Don't leave me, a grown man, not knowing who I am. And don't tell nobody that I don't know who I am. And don't show nobody that I'm running around here supposed to be in charge of stuff and I don't know who I am. And don't leave me like this, because if you don't talk to me, I ain't gonna never know who I am. Stay with me, fight me, wrestle me, pull on me, snatch me, yank on me, bruise me, cut me, but don't leave me. I got to have you because you know who I am. I won't let you go. I will not let you go. Because if I let go of you, I'll lose me. I'll never find me in the bed of a lover. I'll never find me in a bigger house. I'll never find me getting another degree. But if I can lay hold on you, I ain't letting you go. I ain't letting you go. Because I'm lost. I'm walking around here and I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing. And I've been giving myself to people and I didn't even know what I was giving. I thought I was just giving trash. I didn't know. I didn't think it would mean nothing. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be alone. But now that I'm here, and now that I've been rejected, and now that they done left me anyway, and now that they're all talking about me, and now that they done said I'm ugly, and now that they done said they could do better than me, and now that they done forgot about how I helped them and how I loved them, and since I've been rejected, and I don't have nobody but you alone, Jesus, you ain't leaving me. I can't help who else left. You ain't leaving me. Lord, you can have my shoes. It don't make no difference. But whatever you do, don't take your spirit away from me. I need your spirit. I need your counsel. I need your word. Talk to my head. Be my wonderful counselor. Be my daddy. Be my father. Give me my name. I've never been named. Daddy, tell me. Tell me. I'm getting older now. I'm getting older. I can't spend the rest of my life wondering about me. Tell me, who am I? Sex didn't tell me. I made love, it didn't tell me. I made money, it didn't tell me. I made friends, it didn't tell me. I got in the clique, I got in the club, they they know my name. I'm supposed to be important, but that didn't tell me who am I? And then somewhere on the backside of a mountain, between bushes and trees, on rocks and ridges, somewhere in the isolation of his desolation, came a voice from his consecration that exposed his real identity. God said, your name is Israel. To hear his voice, I would worship till I couldn't walk. To hear his voice, I would travel across the country, and while everybody else was being cute in their bad dresses, I would lay flat out in the floor. To hear his voice, I would stop cruising the singles conference, looking for another idol, and get on my face and say, I'm not leaving Greensboro. I'm not leaving. Call the airport and change the ticket. I'm not leaving until you tell me who I am. Because I could have done something and not been it. I could have done drugs and not been a drug addict. I could have lied and not been a liar. I could have stolen and not been a thief. I could have had a homosexual experience and really not be a homosexual. I could have been raped, abused, and molested, but not be that, even though I went through that. Maybe I'm not what I did. If I'm not what I did, then I am who he says I am. And if I am who he says I am, then I can do what he says I can do. And if I can do what he says I can do, then I can have what he says I can have. Wait a minute. I want to thank you. 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 You know what I'm doing? I'm thanking all the folks who left me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for leaving me. Thank you for leaving me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you left me. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad you're gone. I'm glad you're gone. I'm glad you left me. For when my mother and father forsake me, the Lord will pick me up. If you'd have stayed with me, I'd have never been left alone with God. But because you left